Are you curious what your responsibilities are as an executor of an estate? Well, stick around because I will share a few tips on how to figure that out. Hi, I'm Charlotte from the Volch team. Welcome to my channel. And if this is your first time here, I'm a realtor specializing in probate and trust, covering the Inland Empire and the High Desert. And every week I post tips, insights, and updates to help you gain clarity. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell below so that you are notified each week of the latest additions to the channel. If you've been named executor of an estate, and you're probably feeling a range of emotions, from honored to overwhelmed. You're also likely wondering what exactly an executor's duties are. At the most basic level, an executor is responsible for carrying out the wishes of the deceased. In practice, the executor's duties involve making sure all the estate's debts are paid and that the remaining assets are distributed in accordance with the deceased wishes, or if there's no will, in accordance with estate law. Now, note when there's no will, the person carrying out these tasks is called an administrator rather than an executor. Some people believe that an executor must be an attorney or a family member, but in reality, an individual can name anyone they choose to be their executor. The executor is required to handle the estate's affairs with honesty and diligence. In legal terms, they have a fiduciary duty to the estate, which means they must care for the estate's property with care and diligence as if it were their own. Now, while executors are not entitled to proceeds from the estate, some states allow executors to receive a small amount of compensation for their work administering the estate and all the duties. Now that we've set out some of the general parameters, let's dig into some specifics. But before we get started, comment below if you've been named an executor and have specific questions you need help with. An executor's duties are sevenfold. One, opening probate with the court. In most instances, an executor will need to file a petition for probate with their local probate court to be officially appointed as executor. In some cases, courts have simplified procedures for small estates. Number two is locating the deceased's assets. Not everyone keeps clear records about exactly what and where their assets are. The executor may need to do a little bit of detective work to locate things like investment accounts, safe deposit boxes, and they'll also need to set up a bank account for the estate since all assets now officially belong to the estate of the deceased. Number three, they need to provide notice to any heirs and interested parties. An executor is required to provide notice to interested parties, and those are generally named heirs, immediate family members, and creditors. Courts often have very specific requirements about how the notice must be provided. Number four is managing the administration of the estate. Now, while the probate process is ongoing, the executor may be responsible for things like continuing to make mortgage payments out of the estate, closing credit cards, and notifying the Social Security Administration of the deceased's death. Number five is paying the deceased's debts. While the executor is locating the deceased's assets, they're also working to locate all the debts, including funeral expenses, taxes, and the annual tax filings. These must be paid prior to any funds being dispersed to the heirs. Number six is just distributing the remaining funds and or the property to the decedent's heirs. After all the debts have been identified and paid, the executor disperses the remaining funds in compliance with the deceased's will. And number seven, closing the estate. After the executor has taken all necessary actions, the executor must notify the court of all the actions taken and comply with all of these requirements. The executor then needs to keep thorough, accurate records throughout the process. Now, we've listed the executor's duties as required by the court and or the state laws, but most executors find that their unnamed responsibilities are also quite significant. managing the varied emotions of a range of family members, and contending with all the information they learn about the deceased through the process of uncovering their assets and debts. I hope you found this helpful. Comment below if you have a specific situation you need specific help for. And we'll see you on the next one.